But yeah, like I said, if you criticise this iPhone thing, people would just say that you're an over the hill old man who's angry at the world because you don't understand it. I understand it perfectly well, thanks. I'm watching very carefully. I'm paying attention. And this kid who called me a boomer, that wasn't actually the first time I'd ever heard that. Well, it's the first time I ever heard it, but I'd seen it written down on the internet a few times. It's something that young people have just cottoned onto. It's just some little word they've learnt. Anyone who criticises their ways, they just go, oh, you're a boomer. Or if they don't call you a boomer, they say that you've been brainwashed by boomers. But these kids don't even realise that there's a fucking whole generation between millennials and baby boomers called Generation X. You don't even know that. Anyway, the boomer thing has turned into some sort of internet slang that, like I said, just any young kid would just cotton onto. Like this kid that called me a boomer, I don't think he really understood what he was saying. But it's actually a political thing. It's a bunch of little communist fucking dipshits with really stupid ideas, and anyone who tries to tell them how stupid their ideas are, they just go, okay, boomer. He's a boomer. And they think they're really clever. But it's actually a political thing. It's just part of this thing, you know, this thing where it's like, you know when you're at work and they say, you know, don't talk about politics. Don't talk about politics because it's divisive. Even if you say something that makes one person go, yay, it will always make someone else go, hey. You'll always upset someone. So don't talk about politics. Okay, I won't talk about politics. That should be easy. And then they politicise everything. So next thing you know, you can't talk about anything. You see, it turns out that if you talk about politics, it's divisive and it causes arguments, which is bad. But arguments causes hype. And hype gets you clicks in your stupid social media world. So here's another thing where you're just getting fucking pointless arguments all the time because people want clicks on the internet. And when I say they politicise everything, I mean everything, even something as silly as OK Boomer. Alright? So if you go and look up OK Boomer on Wickedy Googles, on Wiki Woogles, on Googly Googles, right? You'll see a load of shit about, oh yeah, it's just like a young generation saying, hey, old generation, stop like hating young generation, boomer. And it's like, yeah, okay, you will see that. That's little kids cottoning onto it. That's not what it's about. It's just internet slang for gimps. So yeah, look out for that. You might see it around on the internet. Boomer. Okay, boomer. Yeah, whatever, boomer. Yeah, you've just been brainwashed by boomers. When you see that, if you see someone commenting on something saying, okay, boomer, or anything to do with boomer, what you are seeing is one of two types of gimp. Ready? It's either an actual political fuckhead who thinks they're coming out with this brand new concepts and they're going, hey, if these rich cunts weren't like so rich cunt, maybe I could have some. It's like, yeah, I've totally never heard of that idea before, and it's really that simple, isn't it? Yeah. No, shut up, you sound like a fucking child. And that's what it is. It's just people who are acting really, really childish, and anyone who points it out, do you know what I mean? Their reaction is, oh, you're some old fogey, you're a boomer. Because you're talking to them like they're a child, so they go, oh yeah, well, you're some old fart, boomer. Trust me, if you ever see someone calling someone a boomer on the internet, try and figure out what provokes them into saying it. And I'm telling you, every time it's just a really reasonable person trying to talk sense into a moron. And their reaction is just, okay, boomer. And they're all chuffed with themselves. They literally think, yeah, I showed you. It's either that, that's what you're seeing when you see that, or you're seeing someone who's actually not as ridiculous, but way more lame, really. Just some little fucking lemming. Just going, okay, boomer, is that what you say now? Is that the internet thing to say? Yeah. It's basically just a fuck you, some middle finger in it. Just like, yeah, okay, boomer. So yeah, okay, lemming. You probably don't even understand your own fucking insult. It's pretty handy, actually. It's pretty convenient. It's almost like all the idiots of the world have chosen to identify themselves with their little calling card. It's like you just look out for OK Boomer and you're like, oh, there's an idiot. There's a fucking moron that just follows the trend. It just says what they think they're supposed to say. You know, unless you actually are 13 and you're going around saying "Okay, boomer." And another funny one was SJW stands for Social Justice Warrior, because that turned into an insult, but that was actually what they called themselves. That was what they named to themselves. They named themselves Social Justice Warriors, and then the whole world just turned around and went, "What? Did you just call yourself a warrior?" Oh yeah, by the way, you got to take a look at these people to understand why it's so funny. Yeah, and it's just like, you're a warrior, and everyone. So that's just like turned into an insult in itself. Here's the thing. Okay, boomer is a reaction to snowflake. Here's where the confusion is. Ready? SJWs, aka social justice warriors, people insult them by calling them snowflakes. They say that they're too sensitive and all this. Now, snowflake is a word that older generations call younger generations. Not just this time around, but always have done that. Because the younger generation are always born into a nicer, safer world. Which is great, but it breeds softer people. And the older generation are always saying, these young'uns don't know the half of it. Fucking snowflakes. Do you know what I mean? Wouldn't know how hard a day's work if it smoked him in the face. Right? That's always happened. That's not new. So the word snowflake is being used there, and the young people's reaction to that is, yeah, okay, boomer. Do you know what I mean? You're some old fart. But also snowflake was used to describe these SJWs, but SJW actually took over as the insult of choice because it's just funnier to insult someone with their own name. They can't say, hey, don't call me that. It's like, no, that's what you tried to call yourself. You called yourselves social justice warriors. And everyone's going, hey, look, it's a warrior. And you can't complain. You can't go, hey, stop taking the piss. It's like, no, you did that to yourself. So originally people started calling them snowflakes, but it became funnier to just call them SJWs. And they reject the name now. If someone goes like, yeah, well, you're one of these fucking SJWs, they go, no, I'm not. So yeah, once again, this is what I'm saying. SJW is political. But snowflake is a word to describe these people, which makes it political. But snowflake isn't necessarily political. It could just be an old person talking about young people. Same with the boomer thing. You're actually seeing two things go on at once. Basically, the way it goes, if you see young people using it, they're probably just using it and they don't understand why. And they're just talking about old people. Okay, boomer. But anyone older than, 18, using that word in a political discussion, it usually is some communist who thinks that their ideas are brand new, and if anyone doesn't like their ideas, and they say to them that, they basically are accusing them of being stuck in the past and having, an outdated view of the world by calling them a boomer. And when you see that, when you see okay boomer, you won't really know which it is. You won't know if it's just some little kid saying, old people, fuck off, or if it's a political thing. You won't know because you don't pay attention. And then you'll start using that word even though you don't know why, and guess what? The people you've seen using it probably don't even know why. Because everyone's just a bunch of complete fucking brain-dead twats. The funniest internet insult was, it was like some initial, it was like CPC or something. What is it? It basically means like a computer character or something. Basically like a computer, if you're playing Sims. Just like a character from Sims. You're not even a real person. You're just like a computer character. That was the funniest one. And if you're saying, okay, boomer, you are a PC something character. I don't even know what it is, but that was the funniest one. I don't get into the internet slang name calling thing. I always think it's really stupid, but that particular one, that was it. NPC. I remember it. NPC, because it stands for that was it. Non-player character. You're not even really a character. You're like one of the background characters. You just walk around doing the same thing. It's like programmed to do something. Yeah. That is what you are. An NPC came before boomer. People have only started calling each other boomer over the last 6 months to a year. NPC was before that. And they're like, yeah, you're just an NPC. And you're like, okay, boomer. So you just prove their point. Or there's an idea, actually. If you ever see someone saying, okay, boomer, shut up, boomer. You've been brainwashed by boomers. Just comment underneath saying, okay, NPC. See if they even get it. And see if they fire back with, oh, you're just saying that because that's some stupid term that people use. It's like, yeah, doesn't that suck? Isn't that lame? You fucking douchebags. So as I said, most people who use that word, they don't actually know what the fuck they're talking about because people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. This is what I'm getting at, isn't it? If you're going around saying, yeah, okay, boomer, it's like, was you saying that this time last year? No, you weren't. When did you start saying it? Oh, it wouldn't happen to be at the exact same time that everyone else started saying it, would it? Like I said earlier about comment sections and you see people being wrong about the same things over and over again. It's like, do you not see each other? Do you not see each other's shit? Or maybe you do read comments, but you just skim through them and read the good bits. Maybe you can get another phone. So if you ever get bored of looking at your phone, you can look at the other phone. See, then you'll never be bored. I actually came up with two jokes. Two actual jokes, like written jokes, like one-liners about iPhones. Do you want to hear them? Of course you do. Ready? Here's the first one. This one time at band camp, I just stared at my phone for ages. The next joke can only be used at Halloween, so it's kind of a shit joke. You can only use it like once a year. But I wrote it, I made it up, so I'm proud of it. Ready? Yeah, at Halloween, you can say, I might go, actually, you don't really, it doesn't have to be Halloween. It could just be a fancy dress party. Any fancy dress opportunity, you can say, I might go dressed as an iPhone. That way everyone will stare at me and finger me all night. I thought that was amazing. I came up with that. What are you coming up with? Okay, boomer. Newsflash, you didn't come up with that, did you? This is what I'm talking about. You just latch onto trends. I'd rather you come out of a shit joke than just repeat a shit joke. If you actually came out of a shit joke, it's automatically not shit because you were being creative. You know what I mean? You get some credit for that. Gives you some points. Come up with something original and I'll actually take your insult and be like, okay, it wasn't great, but you got something. We got something going here. We can have some back and forth. But okay, boomer. It's just like, all right, you just admitted that you're an idiot. So the reason I'm focusing on this boomer thing so much is it shows the crosswires, the breakdown, the meltdown in communication when we are able to communicate as much as we do. Over communication just makes us communicate in such a fucked up way that it actually ruins communication. So this is what I'm talking about with the boomer thing. Okay, it starts with two people having an argument on the internet. And it's like, that's how it starts. But then that's on the internet. But then somehow this trickles into like real life because of the iPhone world, right? It's nothing to do with millennials or boomers or anything. It's because of the iPhone shit. And you don't have to be a millennial to be an iPhone freak. You can be older than me and be an iPhone freak. Yeah, and this trickles into the real world, and next thing you know, you got some 20-year-old calling a 33-year-old a boomer. And he doesn't even understand it. He's just saying that to me because I sound like an old man. I sound like his dad. But it's not just that. It's if I criticise the iPhone, I'm criticising your life. Aren't I? Have you got Snapchat? Have you got Snapchat? Have you got what? Have you not got WhatsApp? Have you not got WhatsApp?
even have WhatsApp.
Here's the point. It's nothing to do with age, all right? Doesn't matter if you're a millennial. I don't care if you're fucking 50 years old. And if you're just obsessed with your phone and every time you can't remember something, you just Google it instead of using your brain and all that shit, that's you. You're a dick. You fucked it. You see what I mean? You used to have your own brain and now you sort of handed it over to this thing. You've got like two brains. You've got one in your pocket and one in your head. And you need the one in your pocket to complete your brain. Like I said, if I took your phone away from you, you'd fall apart. Why? Why? Once again, the young people, I actually kind of understand why if you take their phone away, they fall apart. Because they've always had it. You didn't always have it. What's wrong with you? I'm fine. You could take my phone off of me, throw it in the street, and a bus could run over it and smash it into a million pieces, and I wouldn't give a shit. Couldn't care less. Sometimes when I'm at home, I throw my phone into the corner, and I hope that it runs out of battery. I remember years ago, I'd lost my phone down the side of the sofa, and it ran out of battery, and I was trying to ring it to see where it was, and I was going mad, because I was like, fuck, it's run out of battery, I'm never going to find it, but I found it. But yeah, these days, I just throw it in the corner, and I hope it runs out of battery. And it's like, yeah, I don't have to comply with your shit, and I can just remain a human being, and not fall in line with all your crap, but this is still ruining my life. Because I'll never, ever, ever have a relationship with a woman ever again. Because they're all obsessed with their phone. I've actually considered going to a third world country and finding a woman who doesn't know about iPhones or anything, and she's never seen Sex in the City and all of this shit. And she'd just be like the perfect woman to me. But it's like, what am I going to do? I would have to live in the third world country, because if I bring her here, the first thing she'll do when she gets here is get a phone. And then she'll get a job, and then she'll make friends with a bunch of fucking tarts. Bunch of fucking little witches, and they'll all start going out on work dues, and then suddenly she's like, yeah, they told me to like watch this show called Sex in the City, like I need to like catch up. It's really awesome. It teaches you how to be a fucking slut. Teaches you that it's like totally cool to be a stupid cunt. Every single character in that show is so stupid that I refuse to believe that an intelligent person would even be able to watch it without getting pissed off. I can't watch it without getting fucking fuming. And what I love about the main character, I'm going to have to do a whole fucking episode dedicated to Sex in the City one day. All I want to say right now is that fucking main character, what's her face? Sarah Dickweed. What's her face with the wonky nose? Doesn't matter. The main character, you know who I mean. She sits there like writing a diary or whatever, doesn't she? And explains all of her crap to herself. And it's like, every single episode, I swear at some point, it's just her going, how could I be so stupid? And it's like, yeah, how could you be so stupid? Over and over again. And how can you, the viewer, sit there and go, oh, I wonder if she's going to be a fucking idiot again? And all of her stupid mates and their shit advice. Oh god. Oh yeah, and the point is, every single dude in that thing is just like the worst thing ever. Just absolute dweebs. If your girlfriend watches Sex and the City, it's quite likely that she sees herself as one of the characters. Like she sees herself as the Sarah Jessica Parker character, the main character. That's how she sees herself. But it's far more likely that she much more accurately resembles that old slapper from fucking Big Trouble in Little Chinatown. You know what I mean? What's her name? The old fucking wench from Sex and the City that's just like, yeah! Just some drunk fucking slut. Well, actually, to be honest, there's nothing worse than the Sarah Jessica Parker character. She's the worst one. The old one, the old slut, she knows she's a slut. She thinks it's awesome. But the Sarah Jessica Parker character, she doesn't think she's a slut. She thinks she's just looking for love, and she's just so unlucky and keeps making mistakes. It's like, how many dicks do you have to fall on before you change your strategy? Oh no, I fell on another dick. I don't really like this guy. I'll have to fall in love some other way. Yeah, it's all about love, but she just keeps jumping on dicks all the time. This is how she looks for love. She doesn't understand that this is a mistake, and neither do the people watching it, apparently. It's fucking unreal. You know, it's like, I kind of like this guy, but, like, I kind of don't know. Maybe I should just jam his dick into my vagina hole. Oh, how can I be so stupid? Oh, and by the way, the show isn't a comedy. This is for real. This is like a insight into this fucking, the life of a fucking numbskull. And girls will say that they know that the character's an idiot and they just watch it because they're just watching it. But then they behave in the exact same way. And yeah, if your girlfriend is really into Sex and the City, that means in her head you are one of those guys in that thing. And you don't want to be any of the guys in that fucking show. There's like all these nicknames like Mr. Big and Mr. Clean and all this. They've got a name for you. Any girl you've been with, she sits there with her girly friends and they've got a name for you. Sex and the City is the worst show ever and ladies love it. They think it's the best show ever. The only good thing about it, there's one good thing about it, is your girlfriend will say stuff like, oh, I'm never trying anal. Why would I ever want to try anal? Why would I ever want to put anything in there? It would obviously hurt. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then she watches an episode of Sex and the City where they all sit there and talk about how they do anal and blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, your girlfriend's pretty up for trying anal for some reason. But that is why it's worrying. Because there's a lot of other things that go on in that show that are fucking ridiculous. And if your girlfriend's really that easily influenced by a TV show, that is the worst show for her to be watching ever. There's no hope. Sorry, what's that? What's that? What did you say? What? I sound like a boomer. Oh, because Sex and the City is an old show. It's from the 90s. Yeah, well, people pass it down, all right? Older girls pass it down to younger girls that haven't seen it. Go, have you not seen this? You need to watch this. And even the girls that have already seen it, they re-watch it. They go, oh yeah, I've started re-watching Sex and the City. It's like their little guide to life. And they watch Made in Chelsea and Love Island and all this shit. And they go, yeah, I just watch it for fun. I know it's shit. I know it's shit. Well, if you know it's shit, why do you watch it? Shut up. And then if I do find a perfect woman who thinks like me and doesn't like iPhones, what about our kids? If we have kids, they're born into this world. It's just unreal. If you don't think I have a point here, and if you think I sound like a boomer or any of this crap, you know, disregard what I say. Go on. Just disregard what I say and carry on taking pictures of your ass and posting it on Instagram like a fucking imbecile. All right? Just keep doing that and ignore me because I don't know what I'm talking about. Or you could consider this. Ready? If you take anything from what I'm saying here, take this. Right? People post a picture of their baby on social media. And I don't mean their baby when they're holding it in their arms. They do that, but they post a picture of their baby when it's in the womb. That kid's first selfie is in the womb. And by the way, your kid didn't sign up for Facebook. When your kid is a fucking teenager, their whole life would have already been documented on social media before they even knew what was going on. Because of you. And you just can't wait to upload your fucking kids all over the gaff and sit there and not look at your kid and look at your phone because you want to see how many likes you're going to get for your pictures of babies. Hey everyone, I got pictures of babies. Come get it. And then you get your likes. It's like, yeah, but those babies are people. And you're going to take pictures of them when they're toddlers as well, aren't you? And then when they're 5, 6, 7, and their whole fucking life is on social media without their consent. It's weird. But everyone does it, so it's not weird. And yeah, I hate to think how many parents there are across the fucking world that aren't really looking at their kids, they're looking at their phone. I'm serious about that. But do you know what? If you want to neglect your kid, that's your problem and it's your business. It's not my business. All right? But when I'm talking to you and someone texts you and then you're fidgeting, it's like, well, that is actually my business and I'm fucking sick of it. The worst one is this is quite specific, but this is the worst one though, is cigarette breaks with a phony. That's what I call them, phonies. People that can't leave their phone alone, I call them phonies. Cigarette breaks with a phony. Oh my God. Because if you're a non-smoker, because we will leave you, don't we? Like, you're sitting there, we're all sitting together, and then we go, let's go for a cigarette. And you're supposed to have your own thing out there, but then they just have their own thing on their fucking phone, don't they? Someone texts them and they're like, oh, sorry, 1 minute. And it's not 1 minute. The whole cigarette's gone now, you fucking shithead. No, well, if I was anyone else, if I was anyone else, when someone gets their phone out, I would just get my phone out. That's what you do, isn't it? That's what people do. I've seen them do it. I've actually watched from afar. I've seen people standing talking and then someone gets their phone out and the other one looks around and goes, oh, they're on their phone. They get their phone out. It's the reaction. It's like infectious. You know, like if you catch a yawn, someone yawns, it makes you yawn. I guess if you see someone get their phone out, you get your phone out. But I'm just not, I'm immune. It's not infecting me. I'm like, no. And if someone rings me all the time for no good reason, I just stop answering. And then they stop eventually. If people text me just like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, as if I'm going to text back to that. You're the gimp if you think, you're the gimp for sending that. Even if I like you in real life, you're annoying me with your stupid beep, 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 beep. Hey, how's it going? What you doing? Hey, what you doing? Hey, what you doing? It just screams of insecurity to me. Hey, what you doing? Why do you need to know what I'm doing? Do you want to join in? You don't even know yet. You're just lost, aren't you? You're fucking lost. Hey, guys, what's going on out there? That's what you're doing. Hey, guys, where am I? Where should I be? Texting me. I'll treat you like gold in real life, but if you text me... I've said this stuff to people's faces. They think I'm joking. Or they like pretend to agree with me, but then they carry on with this with the same ways. They don't change. They go, yeah, you're dead right, but they don't change at all. I just don't know how to put it that would make you acknowledge that you're the gimps and I'm doing it right. The path that you guys are on with your social media lifestyle is... it can't last. Surely I'm going to outlive you with my path. You'll all come crawling back to me. You'll all come back going, oh yeah, we thought the social media world was the real world. It's actually not. How's it going? And I'll be like, go away. I tried. It was impossible to get through to you. You've had all your chances. Sorry. Bye. Oh no, but we're not really doing that anymore. We realise, no, well, it's too little too late. Go fuck yourself. Shove it up your shithole. How about you just fucking sort it out now? You actually already know that the TV shows you watch are shit. You keep complaining how shit they are. Stop watching them. You actually already know that you act like a baby with your stupid little toy. How about you just fucking stop? Oh, because everyone does it and it's just like the normal way and oh my God, I'm such a gimp. That's how you sound to me. Oh my God, I don't know. I guess. Have you ever had diarrhea and you've actually already blasted out a fountain of shit for the last hour on and off? As far as you're concerned, there shouldn't be anything left in you, but you know there is. It's just gonna keep coming, isn't it? You might as well just bite the bullet and not get off the toilet. You're done, but you just sit there, don't you? You just sit there. And then, eventually it comes out, just sort of, it doesn't blast out anymore. Every now and then it's just like, oh no, sort of a pain in your stomach and then a strain in your fucking rectum and then... rank. Yeah, you thinking about it? Are you thinking about the bum hole? Don't think about someone sitting there on the toilet. Think about you've somehow got a camera on the arsehole in the toilet like an hour into a diarrhea session, right? And then you're getting those last little... You got to picture that. Picture the arsehole and the... But also you have to sense the anticipation, that waiting, like, oh my God, is it going to do it again? Yeah, it's that anticipation, waiting for the next bit. Is it going to be a lot, or is it kind of done now? Oh, there's one. And it's just like spraying everywhere. And it sprays out, and it's like some bits are darker than others. It starts getting lighter and more watery. You think it's done now, but then you see some orangey, weird colours coming out. Yeah, you're picturing it. Picture that bumhole and all that shit like dripping around it. It's all around the cheeks. You haven't wiped yet. There's no point. It's going to happen again in a minute. Picturing it? Yeah, you're looking at that bumhole. That's me looking at your mouth talking. Anticipating the next. Is it done yet? Oh, I think they're done. Orange shit. You see unfairness of it? Because I'm not a phony, I will sit there and listen to you waffle and listen to your shit. Because I actually think there's a conversation going on. This is in the daytime normally. Nighttime, it's normally all right. But in the daytime, I try and talk to anyone in this day and age. And at some point, the phone will come into the conversation. And if they start showing me videos, that's normally what gets us in, isn't it? Someone goes, oh, have you seen this video? And I actually do want to see the video, but now we're on the phone. And the phone is now involved. It's you, a person, and this thing. And it's a window to everything, isn't it? And it just takes over. You'll find that you can actually have a decent conversation with someone at work, because generally you're not really allowed to stand around looking at your phone at work. But if you're talking, you can get on with stuff and talk at the same time. Not always, but you can. Now, the problem with those conversations, usually, or used to be, is that they're too short. Because you need to get on with something. But those conversations are actually longer in comparison to how often you get interrupted by buzz zap, WhatsApp, siggity snap chaps, jiggity plat flaps, and all your little gadgets and your fucking douche shit.